Hello, everybody. This is Spokane Steve. I'm just fooling around today. For some reason, this thing didn't post on my channel. See, I'm looking for it. And there's tomorrow's card and dice game. Let's close some of those extra windows. Well, hell, I don't know. Well, plus I cannot tell if I'm connected to the chat or not. But there'd be no way for anybody to see that this is a live broadcast, according to this. Very strange. So should I continue to do it or abort? Let me get a cup of coffee. We'll think about this. That one's cold. I'm going to get rid of that one. You bet. Coastal Peaks. There's our mascot. Huh. Okay. I finished my chores here, errands today. It says I'm broadcasting live. Is there anybody in the chat? Can anybody hear me? Connected to chat, it says. But I have no way of knowing that. Okay, if we go here, it says it's unlisted. Give me a break. Why would it do that? Why in the world, when you go live, would it unlist it? Are you kidding me? See, there we go. Now I've got to turn the volume off on this. That's totally weird. So we're almost 4 minutes into this thing before I realize I set this up to go live now, and it put it as unlisted rather than public. Hello there, Ben. Boy, that was a great game from Stang. What I'm going to do today is just briefly go over this 365 online. Some of you know I made the Barnstormers finals with my team, the San Bernardino Wigwams. This is the 8th season now in this tournament. 6 seasons in the semifinals. And all of my teams were named after famous Route 66 sites. And a lot of them are different salary caps. The first event, which is on the bottom, the Cuba wagon wheels, that's player's choice. You can play any cap you want. Then you have the 80 million, the 100 million, the 60 million, the 140 million, the 200 million. The semifinals league is 100 million, and you have to win the league to go to the finals. And it's a 24-team league. The others are all 12-team leagues. Do I have any wigwam apparel? I don't, so I haven't been there yet, Ben. I would love to go to Oatman and see the burros. If I did go to Oatman, I'd probably go to San Bernardino and stay at the wigwam. But that's all of that. So anyway, you have 12 teams. You're broken into 3 divisions of 4. And these are the roster charts. Now, I don't know if I can make this smaller or not. Or even if I can full screen it. I don't know if you can. Because you can't see all of the players in one screen. That's one thing that's not too great. And anyway, I'm in the East. And the ballpark effects are huge in these tournaments. Control minus. Let's try that. Oh, look at that. That makes it so you can see them all, although they're smaller. You can see most of the players. Not everybody's done yet, obviously. Yeah, that's true. This really isn't a good time to do this because a lot of these guys are still setting their teams. The season starts tomorrow. You can make roster changes up until 7 p.m. Pacific on Monday. But what we can do, I will show you my team. It's a 100 million cap. Pretty much everybody fits, almost, huh? Well, we can look at it, the pitchers first. I decided to put a lot of money in my top 3 starters and go with a cheaper, I'm going with the cheap 4-starter method. All of these strategies have been used by other people too. The cheap 4-starter method, you see that all the time. There's also the 4 aces method where you have 4 expensive starters and no bullpen at all. You have them be all 9 endurance. Put them on slow hook, do not remove if fatigued. And you just ride your starters. I've opted for a little bit of money in the pen, largely to back up the 4-starter Drysdale. And maybe the 9th inning for Kovaleski. My ballpark allows no home runs, but a lot of singles. This is a singles hitting team, no power really. Honus Wagner will be the DH. I took him as my first pick. He was originally going to be my first baseman. But when Rod Carew was still hanging around, in the 6th round, I took the cheapest Carew, the one that's only good against right-handers, and figured I could get a platoon partner for him, which I did in Buck O'Neill. The autoplay, the Strat-O-Matic plays the games online, 3 games per day. It's a 3-game series. And you play a different team. The goal of this team is to hit a lot of doubles and triples and to have guys that can take the extra base. So there's 5 17 runners and a 16. I count, you'll see 2 16s there, but I count Carew and O'Neill as 1 16 since they're a platoon combo. And then you open these cards up and you can see the card. You can also see the other cards that Rod Carew has in the ATG game. I'm using the cheapest card. Why? Because it's the best bang for the buck hitting card against righties practically in the set. I think it is the best value per dollar in the set. He can't steal because of the, you look at his steal rating, 3 through 7 for the lead, but 2 and then 8 through 12 automatically out. But he'll be held on, and he can run. Ben, I'm really more interested in going first to third and scoring from first on an extra base hit. I'm more interested in the base running than the stealing. Not a big steal guy. Yes, and that's going to be this guy, Buck O'Neill. Not quite as good, but for $1.17. Also a 16 runner. He's got some doubles and triples. The doubles, of course, are orange, and the triples are purple, and the home runs are red. I'm more into the base running than the stealing. If you have a lot of speed, a lot of times the computer, because you're playing the computer, remember, the computer's running the game. First to third, a lot of times they'll concede it because they don't want the batter to get to second. So Carew and O'Neill platoon at first. Bill Doran's at second. That's going to be my 9th place hitter. He's the weakest hitter in the lineup. The catcher, Phelps, will bat 8th. Phelps again. He's the only one without any speed. But, I mean, look at those doubles. He was also on the Oatman team. A lot of these guys were. I was trying to basically do a similar team to the Oatman Burrows with a few tweaks. Artie Wilson will be at short, the 1944. He can run. Veach in left. Duffy in center. Bob Musell in right. Wagner, the DH. Also trying to hit for a high average. Oh, I forgot the third. Judd Wilson's actually at third base, although it says first base here, but he's a third base for E10. So I've got, of my guys that I put any money into, 382. This is misleading because Carew hit 319, but he doesn't hit lefties. Hit much better than 319 against right-handers. Artie Wilson, 345. Veach, 355. Musell, 337. Duffy, 440. Wagner, 381. Exactly, Ben. Yeah, much different. You're looking for extremes. Strengths and extremes. For example, that's true too. No, it's the opposite actually. The corners, the error range comes up more often, and up the middle, the range comes up more often. So I have a 1 second baseman and a 1 shortstop. With 15 singles, you want to try to turn double plays as well. And Musell, here it says left field, but he'll be the right fielder, 1 -5. You want a -5 if you can in right to stop the other team from going first to third, because my strength is going to be going first to third. So I'll take away a lot of the other teams' home runs. I'll try to take away their ability to run the bases. In addition to Musell's -5 in right, Duffy's a -2 in center, and Veach is a -3 in left. So I'll thwart a lot of their base running. Now again, I'm over my head in this finals league. We've got 8 or 9 of the very best online ATG players here. I have no illusions of winning this thing. I simply want to try to compete and not embarrass myself too badly. ATG, in addition to that, you've got, in addition to the all-time great, here's all the player sets you can play online. 24 season, 23 season. They've got all these current seasons going back to 2008, no, actually 2007, and then some older ones thrown in, 01, 99, 86, 82, and 80. Then you can play the mystery game, which is an entirely different game, and it's by decades. The mystery game, there's 5 different cards for the player, and you don't know which card you get. The salaries are averaged, and it is a mystery game. You don't know which of the 5 cards you're playing with. Oh, that's a good question. The Unleashed will put in a lot of small at-bat and inning cards that don't qualify for the regular season. So if we look at the last season, who would be a good example of an Unleashed player? Reese Hines, for example, only had 46 at-bats, costs $8.97, monster card against right-handers. Let's look at that card. Look at the home runs on this guy. Can't field, but monster hitting. That's in a neutral park, by the way, 8, 8, 8, and 8. You can adjust that to any park you want. What if he was in a home run park? Let's see, he's a right-handed hitter. What if we put him in Coors Field, for example? Holy criminy. I'm not a fan of the Unleashed. I do play current seasons, but I don't normally play Unleashed. But I'll do another Barnstormers preview after the teams are set. Wouldn't be fair to do it now because a lot of these guys are still tinkering. My team, I think, is set. I don't foresee making any changes. And then you can buy credits. Generally speaking, I wait for the sales. The single team is $25. You can get 5 teams for $100. But a lot of times they'll have a sale where you can get 5 teams for $80. And that's usually when I swoop. Plus, you can win free credits. If you win a championship in a league, you get 2 free credits. If you're the runner-up, if you lose the World Series, in other words, you get 1 free credit. There is a link. I will post that in the thingamajig. That's going to be in the forums under Barnstormers Tour. Here's the standings and rules. Here's this year's tournament. So this gives you this is all the information on this year's entire tournament, which has been going on for basically almost a year. They'll start the next event 1 before the Finals League is over. So you've got all your events, who had the best record, who won each league, clear down to the semifinals and the Champions League, which the link doesn't work for that yet, but that's because the league hasn't started. That makes sense. Well, that's not really true because I can't click on these either. That's interesting. Why not? I'm going to refresh this and find out why I can't. Yeah, there we go. Champions League. So I can click on these leagues and I could bring up the league. This one I can't yet. It says begins to be decided, but it actually begins tomorrow. Anyway, false starting gun there, Ben, and everyone. I was going to do a breakdown of the league, but I'll have to wait until these guys finalize their teams to do that. So instead, I'm going to rename this a brief preview of Strat 365. But this is a great way to play if you just want to build a team to play one season and then be done and then move on to something else. Very different from my keeper leagues where you're keeping the same players from year to year. And theoretically, everyone starts the season on equal footing since you all have the same salary cap to work with. It's not quite as simple as that, however, because there are certain players who tend to produce above their price and certain players that tend to never produce up to their price. Platooning comes into play a lot. Now, I'm only using one platoon on this team, but you'll find guys that use a ton of platoons. And why? Well, use the Carew O'Neill thing as an example. You're getting a lot of production there for, $3.76. That platoon will easily outproduce what Doran's going to do playing every day for $3.41. Although he's going to bat ninth, and he's a 1 at second base, and a switch hitter, and he can run. And you can't have stars everywhere, obviously. You've only got so much money to spend. So other than it's different than the keeper leagues, but this is really about money management and different strategies. Anyway, that's enough of that. I'm going to do another one when these guys finalize their team. But anyway, check it out. 365.Strat-O-Matic.com. And if you sign up, if you've never had an account before, new users, it used to be they gave you a free team to start out with. I don't think they do that anymore, but it is a greatly discounted team. I think you start out with like your first 2 teams for $15 or something like that. It's a pretty good deal, actually, for a trial offer. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for watching. And I'll post more on the Barnstormers in the near future. Have a great afternoon, Ben and everyone.